so many new faces in South County. This is exactly what I was telling the chairperson of the Republican Party. There's a big segment of a new community here in San Luis of young, educated people that lives in the east side in this area. Come more often. There's a future for the party here, but you need to come. You need to have a conversation. We're not enemies. We will listen. And what can I say? I'm the type of person that works with everybody. In the construction industry, you have to be able to work with everybody and agree to disagree and be respectful. It is an honor to have all of you here. To the candidates, I wish you luck. Work hard. Go knock at doors. Be polite step. Sometimes you're gonna hear things that you don't wanna hear, complaints or even attacks, but we wanna serve, that's the prize. David, you are an inspiration. David Lara, he ran, and he had my support from day one. And they used to call him a loser. And you know what? Why he's my hero? He never gave up.
Never gave up.
He got up, dusted himself, and kept going. And look at him. He went and represented us at the national convention. David, you have my respect.
He has all of
Thank
our
you.
respect.
Everybody welcome.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. So now we're going to have address us Warren Peterson. He's currently the president of the state senate, and he's running for attorney general. So let's welcome Mr. Peterson.
Wow, this is awesome. Great to be with you guys in Yuma. Thank you, Mayor. Congratulations, David, and great job. It's good. Our elections are secure out here, right? Under this man?
No. Because they took, the board of supervisors took away the election department.
Oh, no. Okay, we got work to do, folks. We got work to do. Good luck to Miss Echevarria. Is that? Yep. Good luck to her on her upcoming race. Great to see some familiar faces like Connie and Malva and all of you guys that are helping us. Yuma County is so important. We need Yuma County to win these statewide races. So thank you for your help. Are you guys ready for Governor Biggs in 2027? This is Arizona is truly blessed to have this type of a candidate running for governor. He will take us into the golden era of Arizona, 100%. So it is, I unequivocally endorse him and support him, and just so thrilled he's running for what he can do here for the state of Arizona. So Warren Peterson, candidate for Attorney General, currently the Arizona Senate President, not as famous as Mr. Biggs, but I'll try. I'm just going around. This is my 111th event around the state, so I'm working hard, getting out there. When I put this in my GPS, I wasn't sure if this was the right place, because I just saw a lot of, I saw a bunch of sand on my, looking down. I thought, is this where they filmed Star Wars, or what's going on out here? So, but then I pulled into the parking lot and I saw a bumper sticker that said, "Arrest Katie Hobbs." So I was like, okay, I am right at home. I'm where I'm supposed to be, right here. That's actually a true story. Like one of my, early on, one of my early events, I pulled up to a building. I was supposed to speak at an event. I was late. And there was like 20 suites, and they didn't give me the suite number. I'm like, crap, which one do I go in? And there was a car parked out that said "Arrest Katie Hobbs." And I'm like, I'm using that. It's great. So let me ask you folks a question. How would you like to have an attorney general that will defend the Constitution? Okay? We don't have that right now, do we? So, in fact, I've been recruited. I was recruited by folks who used to work for the Attorney General's office. Like, Warren, please come save this office. It's been desecrated. But I've got some incredible. I'm so honored to have endorsements and support from the legal community. I'm the only candidate endorsed by county attorneys and AGs, endorsed by AG Derek Brown from Utah, Attorney General Ron Labrador from Idaho. I'm endorsed by County Attorney Bennett, County Attorney Brad Miller, sheriffs. Toughest sheriff in America has endorsed me. Is remember him? Sheriff Joe, endorsed by Sheriff Teeple. So I'm just thrilled. And my number one endorsement that I'm proud of is former prosecutor, current congressman, and future governor of Arizona right there, Congressman Andy Biggs. So, Arizona, we have a law here that gives the Senate president standing when the AG is not defending our laws. Well, consequently, I'm involved in over 80 lawsuits. That's how many situations she is not taking care of the interest of Arizona. I've been called the de facto AG in this aspect because the aspect of defending the law and the Constitution, she's absolutely failing us. And I will tell you, Congressman Biggs has been our de facto governor in many senses because our governor is not defending our interests. And he's been great helping in Washington, D.C., working with agencies and directors on important things here in the state of Arizona. So I can't tell you about all 80 lawsuits, but I'll tell you about two of my, favorite, two of the favorite ones I've got. First of all, California passed a rule. It said any trucks that do business in California will have to electrify. Any Arizona trucks that do their business in California will have to electrify their trucks. Does that sound like a good idea?
Oh, yeah.
Well, Chris Mays thinks it's a good idea, so she did nothing. Well, I sued California, and 7 weeks ago I won. We do not have to electrify our trucks in the state of Arizona. And then how about the common sense stuff? This is why Democrats, did you know Democrats just reached their all-time low for popularity? It's like 31% approval rating for Democrats. Why is that? Well, do you guys remember the 1980s when we were normal? They have really veered from a normal era. Men with breast implants, boys think they're girls. What have we come to? Well, we passed a common sense law here in Arizona, said no boys can play in girls' sports. That a good idea? Well, our current governor and AG think it's okay for boys to play in girls' sports. So, not too long ago, two boys that thought they were girls sued the state of Arizona. Chris Mays and Governor Hobbs did nothing because they think it's okay. I intervened, spent all day in deposition, and if you guys Google Jane Doe versus Warren Peterson, what you'll see is that I'm a lead defendant at the U.S. Supreme Court for the Save Women's Sports Act.
Okay.
And we are absolutely going to win this. We thought it would get ruled on this June. It'll happen next cycle. I've got an interesting race. I've been told, Warren, in the primary, you got to defeat a Democrat in the primary and the general election.
Okay.
You see, I am the only candidate in this race who was not Raul Grijalva's aide for 4 years. I'm the only candidate in this race who's never been endorsed by Planned Parenthood. I'm the only candidate in this race who has not changed my party 3 times. I'm a lifelong conservative Republican. That's who I am. So, and what's nice is my opponent has been running for 15 years and lost 6 times in a row. We don't know what he's going to do if he ever wins. You do know what I'm going to do if I win. You know what Congressman Biggs is going to do when he wins. And by the way, isn't it great that we know exactly what Congressman Biggs is going to do? And Congressman Biggs has never lost a race. He will absolutely be the candidate to win the general election. That's what we need to put up in these general elections. So if you look at my record, it's out there. It's out there for everybody to see. All the watchdog groups do the rankings. We got the fabulous ASRA representative here. ASRA just came out with their rankings for the legislature, and they ranked me number 1 out of 90 legislators here in the state of Arizona. So, thank you. And that actually surprised me a little bit. Now, if you look back the last 13 years, I've consistently been ranked number 1, number 2, number 3 out of 90. But when you're the Senate president, you have to build consensus, you gotta lead, you gotta get stuff done. You can't just vote no, score high scorecards and, throw bombs. You have to make it happen. So I'm really proud of that. The other thing with me is that I've got all the bills that I've passed. I've literally passed hundreds of bills, co-sponsored hundreds of bills. So you guys can look at my bills, see if you agree with them or not, and decide if those are your values and that's what you want to support. So the first bill that I'll share, obviously with Charles, the first bill I'd like to share with you, I authored the bill to ban sex changes on minors. I'm the only legislator I know of in Arizona who has eliminated a state agency. A Doge eliminated a state agency. The pension. When I got elected and I saw the pension for politicians, I was like shocked. It was something only a politician could have dreamed of. It was like, retire in 8 years, 80% of your thing. I mean, it was totally crazy. So I co-sponsored legislation to eliminate pensions for politicians. It passed. We don't have that anymore here in Arizona. Now, I was grandfathered in, and they asked me, would you like the pension? And I said, no, I refused the pension, so do not take that. How many of you guys would like to know what the election results are the night of the election?
Yeah!
Yeah, so Arizona has the dubious distinction of we were 50th last
Oh my goodness.
in the nation to tell you who our electoral votes were going to for the president. Totally pathetic. You know how long it takes Florida to give their election results?
2 hours.
Yeah, an hour. Okay? So I contacted the Florida Secretary of State, Corey Bird, I believe was his name. Met with him a couple times and figured out what is different between Arizona and Florida to get these results so quickly. So he helped me author the bill. It's been called the Florida Style Elections Bill. We fast-tracked the bill, worked with the House to mirror it, put it on the governor's desk, and
guess what?
she vetoed it. Good news is Governor Biggs will be signing that at his first week in office. So we will be getting quick election results under Governor Biggs. Some other things I've done, passed laws to be tougher on terrorism. I was the author of the Arizona ICE Act. I worked with A.G. Kobach, friend of mine, Attorney General friend of mine from Kansas. Worked with Sheriff Rhodes very closely. And basically, very straightforward, simple bill. It says if you have been arrested for breaking a law here in the country and you're here illegally, ICE has 48 hours to pick you up. That sound reasonable? Our governor vetoed that one too. Now, it also talked about 287G agreements. This is where we can enter into agreements with the federal government. And as Attorney General, I will absolutely be doing that. So, just in closing, I'll just say this. I beat Governor Hobbs in court when she wrote the law. Beat Fontes, Secretary of State Fontes in court when he broke the law on the EPM. And I beat Chris Mays in court when she sued us. With your help, we're going to beat all 3 of these and take back the executive branch in 2026. Warren Peterson, candidate for Attorney General. Now, we need your help, folks. We've got signatures or petitions that you can sign. Congressman Biggs is already over the limit, but he needs more signatures and information. You can do the QR code to do the digital petition. That's very helpful because it can't be challenged. We make sure we get everything right. Also, donations, contributions. These races are expensive. I just hit $1 million cash on hand, so we're doing. We had a great quarter and we're doing well, but our budget is $3 million, so we got to keep going. We got to keep working hard. The maximum contribution is $5,500. So if you max out, I will never ask you to donate again. But not everybody can max, but everybody can do something. So please do something. If you don't donate to me, donate to Andy Biggs, okay? And with that, thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be, it was worth the drive. I love it here. This has been a great event. Thank you so much. God bless.
Thank you so much, Mr. Peterson. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know who he is. U.S. State Representative, gubernatorial candidate, came all the way here to see us, Mr. Andy Biggs.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here with you. It's good talking to you, Mayor. David, good seeing you again. And so many friends that are here. I'm grateful to be here. Glad you're taking time out on a Saturday afternoon in Arizona, in San Luis. And for some of you who don't know me, I thought I'd just give you a little, what we say in Japan, a Jiko Shokai. I'm going to give you a brief introduction of who I am. So I grew up in Tucson and lived there until I left to go to college. And then I went back for law school to U of A. And so my mom was a grassroots conservative activist in Tucson. It's kind of like being a grassroots conservative activist in CD7. We were outnumbered. Terribly. But I had this car, an Oldsmobile 98. It was about as big as, almost as big as this area here. Very big. It was so big I couldn't park it in the driveway. And I would park it on the street. And my mom would write letters to the editor. And back in those days, you had to push your address down when you did letters to the editor. I'm glad you don't do that anymore. And she would go on the radio and she would espouse a conservative viewpoint. And people would get agitated in my hometown. And they would come and they would try to throw eggs at our house. Fortunately, or unfortunately, my car was so big they couldn't get the eggs over the car. And they would land at my car, hit my car, and then spray paint, swear words, and they broke out the rear window. They ended up stealing the only new thing on that car, because I paid $100 for the car. The only new thing they paid on the car was my battery, and they kept ripping that off, and the police would come at about 2 in the morning. The hood of your car's open. Oh no, not again. And so the reason I tell you that story is I had no intention of ever getting involved in politics. I decided it was just too ugly and divisive and terrible and didn't want to do it. And then I happened to meet my wife-to-be at a political event, blind date. We met and I kind of fell for her immediately. Not as fast as she fell for me. No, I'm just kidding. But I fell for her when we started going out, and about 3 weeks later, I decided I wanted to marry her. And so November 20th, 1980 was when we met. Okay, just so you know. So we're coming up on our 45th anniversary of meeting each other. Anyway, I asked her to marry me at the end of December. Pretty fast, huh? And she said no. And that was kind of bruising. But I persisted, and 3 weeks later I asked her again, and she said yes, and we got married a few months after that. We've been married 44 years, with 6 children, and 11 grandchildren, 1 on the way. And that's, so I was talking to Mary. Mary and I were talking about families and how important they are to society and the community, and they help perpetuate the culture and who we are. We have a unique history as Americans. We believe in freedom, individual rights given to us by God, and individual accountability. That's the basis, really, of where we are, and we want everyone to be able to flourish, and I'll talk about that in a second. The other thing I would tell you is, let's fast forward to Donald Trump. So Donald Trump is doing something I call intuitive federalism. And what's federalism? Federalism is actually restoring rights to the states, the balance to the states. right now, everything comes from the federal government. And my friend Warren Peterson, who by the way will make a great attorney general, I'm looking forward to working with him because Warren knows this. We're going to get, when I'm the governor, we'll probably get sued a lot from the left. You just do. I mean, that's, unfortunately, Mayor, that's just kind of the way it works out these days. And so we got to have an attorney general who's going to be good and will defend our state as we go forward. Anyway, so Donald Trump is reducing the size and scope of the footprint of the federal government. Right? So he says we're going to eliminate the Department of Education. So he does so. He says we're going to remove 25% of the bureaucracy of the Internal Revenue Service. And I say I feel safer now.
Right.
I hope you do too. And then Warren and I went back together, set this up to meet with the EPA Administrator, Lee Zeldin. And Lee, who I served with in Congress, has us come in there, and Warren gives him a list of things, priorities for the state of Arizona. And Lee basically adopts every one of those things that we asked him to do. And he said the president told him and every other cabinet member, we need to get rid of the rules and regulations that are hindering the freedom and the economy, economic growth of American citizens.
Absolutely.
And that's what I call federalism,
Yeah.
right? And so, but I don't think President Trump wakes up every morning saying, gee, I want to go back to James Madison and the founders of the country and the Constitution and rebalance it. I think he says the federal government is too big, too overbearing, too overreaching, and we have to reduce the size and scope. Okay?
Absolutely.
And that's what he's doing, which leads me to why I'm running for governor. We have a current governor that has taken us from 4th in the nation in job creation to 47th. We're now 47th in job creation. We have a governor who has basically said we don't care about what parents do, and for education we're going to get rid of school choice. We have a governor who said we're okay with the Chinese Communist Party owning land in Arizona. And we have a governor who has basically attacked our foundation as a state, in my opinion. Thus, with President Trump trying to move the federal government out of the way, we need a governor, an attorney general, a secretary of state who know how to lead and how to govern using the freedoms that will be given to our state, restored to our state. When I was in the state legislature, we spent probably 85 to 90% of our time responding to mandates from the federal government. And I don't know how you are, Mayor, how many mandates you have to respond to from the federal government, up to your eyeballs and more. That has got to stop, and we have to be ready because that's going to actually, I think it's going to keep coming down. And the longer President Trump's able to get his agenda through, the more of it he gets through, the more we have to be prepared. And so here's the way we do it. I've talked a little bit about some of the things that this governor has done. Well, let's just figure this out. In November of 2026, Warren's going to be elected the AG. You're going to have Colvin elected Secretary of State, and I'm going to be elected governor. We're going to expand our majorities in the House and the Senate. That's going to be on that Tuesday, that first Tuesday after the first Monday in November 2026. And on Wednesday, what happens next is the procedure, so you know, is the Senate Republicans and Democrats each get together in their own caucus. House Republicans and Democrats each get together in their own caucus, and they elect their leaders for the new term. So you get a new speaker, and you get a new president of the Senate, and their helpers, their aides. That's usually done by about 5 or 6 p.m. Did it take you very long?
It's, yeah, if you're done by like 1:30.
Yeah, so you get that done, and in that evening, I'll be meeting with them. And we're going to start going through those nearly 300 bills vetoed by Governor Hobbs, and we're going to say, these are the bills we're going to go first, and we're going to start going forward. And we're going to get members of the House and Senate to carry what we call mirror bills. If you carried it in the Senate before, you're carrying it again. We're going to have exact language bills in the House. And why do you do that? Because you don't have to worry about crossing over and dealing with amendments. You're actually getting those bills through. And so on, so you got 2 months. So in November we elected, in January, we're ready to go on day one. 8:30 in the morning, we're gonna get sworn in. You gotta get up early in the morning there. We're gonna get sworn in at 8:30 in the morning. And by 9:30, those committees will be meeting. We'll get the bills read across on the floor. And by the end of the week, we should be signing, those bills should be coming up to me. I'll be signing them by Friday of that week.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the way you do this. We're talking about election integrity bill, we're talking about the anti-CCP bill. How about the 21 bills the governor vetoed dealing with rural water? You guys have any issues with water in Yuma County?
Yeah.
Absolutely, and we all do as a state, and so we'll take care of that. We're gonna have the rough draft of the budget. I've already been going through the budget. I got long rides. And so I've been going through budget items, and we're gonna have to do a lot of fixing. We're gonna do a Doge in this state, and all of this to correct the direction that we're going in the state. And why? Because we spend too much money, the state overreaches too much, and we've got to be ready to deal with the additional responsibilities that will come as the federal government divests itself of some of these things. And when it comes to pass, we're going to be able to say that, well, I'll just tell you this, because this is a true story. People wonder sometimes if politicians tell true stories. So Byron Donalds, who's running for governor of Florida, we're friends, we're both in the House Freedom Caucus. He's going to win Florida, and I'm going to win here. And I told him, Byron, within 90 days of me winning and you winning, you're going to see some red lights ahead of you. And he said, what are those red lights? So that's the tail lights of Arizona zooming past Florida to become the freest, most economically sustaining, and best state in the country to live in. That's what you're going to see, and that's what we're going to do. And it leads to this notion, this thing that is important to me. I'm not running to be governor of Maricopa County. I'm running to be governor of the state of Arizona. And I want everybody who's legally in Arizona
Okay.
to be able to flourish, to fulfill the full measure of their accountability to God. And that's what I really want. And so that's what we're going to do. And every one of you are going to feel a lot freer, hopefully a lot more prosperous. And I really believe the free market system we have is so incredible because it allows everybody to succeed. And if you fail, it allows you to stand back up and try again.
Try again.
That's the beautiful part of our free market system. Well, I'm grateful to be with you, and we've got a few minutes for maybe 3 or 4 questions. Depends on how long I answer. So with that, I'm going to take. You can ask any question you want, and I'll decide if I'm going to answer it. So, go ahead.
I'm wondering where Congress is in regards to the Smith-Lund Act, and are we going to restore it and rename it the Charlie Kirk Act to keep media from lying to us and their propaganda? That's obviously very violent. So where do we stand on that?
Yeah. You want to hear the question? Are we going to rename the Smith?
Well, where is Congress at in reinstating it?
And reinstating it.
And holding the media accountable.
And where are we holding the media accountable, and when we call it the Charlie Kirk Act? I'm going to deal with Charlie Kirk first, because I didn't deal with Charlie Kirk, and I would like to deal with him because he's a friend, but it's really emotional. Well, we've solicited funds. We're going to, the speaker didn't want to do this. I am continuing to put pressure on him. We are going to put a statue of Charlie Kirk in the Capitol of the United States. And we have the funds to do it now. The speaker said, but Andy, if we do that and something were to happen to somebody that, God forbid, and he named somebody, I said, so if somebody wants to stick a statue of him, go ahead and accept it, because it's going to be a gift. You can accept it, and you place it wherever you want to, because that's your job as the speaker. And I believe that he's now on board with us, but we do have the funds to do it. Now, holding media accountable for violent language, and there's a whole bunch there that we've looked at. One of them is Section 230 of the platforms, because the platforms right now are the #1 facilitator of violent rhetoric and also suppression of conservative viewpoints. I would like to see that we redefine what a platform is and say, if you actually censor, then all of a sudden you are editing, and thus you are a publisher, and you have to subject yourself to all of the other publishing requirements, equal time, etc., like that. I'm fighting an uphill battle, but that's kind of where we are. Congress is very concerned about stepping over freedom of speech. The First Amendment was designed to protect even some of the most odious of language, but you cannot incite violence.
Yes.
You cannot defame or slander, because and that's lying. You cannot defraud. There are limitations on the First Amendment, and the question is, how do you get there? I would personally think that if we're going to really solve this problem, you have to eliminate the New York Times case. Sorry, I mean, I don't know where you guys are on that. And that is the malicious requirement if you file a civil lawsuit on defamation. And what it says is if Andy Biggs is like a member of Congress, or if he's a public figure of any kind, in order to, you can basically say anything you want about that guy, unless he can show that what you did was malicious. And malicious is a culpable mental state, regards intent. It's very difficult. So Congress is trying to, and we beat it back and forth. We're trying to come up with a solution, but it's, we're more successful at solving budgetary problems. That's a joke. I mean, we're more successful at budgetary problems than that issue.
Congress, back to Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
Did you speak on campus last week?
Yeah. So with Charlie Kirk, so I was honored first to speak at the Kennedy Center Memorial. That was an awesome experience, and that was probably 3-4 days after Charlie had been assassinated. And then they also when they called me for that, they said, "We're continuing the campus tour. Will you come up and speak on the campus tour at Utah State University?" And I was really honored by that. But I'll just tell you kind of a weirdly humorous story about that. They didn't give me any details. They just said, "Show up on campus about 5:15." Oh, okay. So we flew up to Salt Lake, and I thought it was going to be one of those campus deals where I wear Levi's and a T-shirt and like a hat that says Turning Point or Happy, Freedom, whatever. And then we were going to throw out hats. I mean, I asked them, "Are we going to throw out hats?" And they said, "Yes." And that's really all I knew. And as we were driving up, Jason Chaffetz, who had called me and said he was going to join me on this panel, which I didn't know was going to be a panel until he called me. So now we're on a panel, and I said, "Well, what are you wearing?" He says, "They told me to wear a suit." And I had brought Levi's and the T-shirt and the cap, and I was going to go back the next morning. I'm like, uh-oh. And my wife's with me, and I said, "Cindy, what do you think?" She says, we're going to go to Desert Industries, which is like Goodwill. I found a great $25 suit and a tie, and I had to buy a button shirt as well. So for $33, I was able to get myself remarkably presentable. And then we went, and I started getting these text messages saying, "There's a bomb scare. There's a bomb scare." And they evacuated the entire Utah State University campus. That's probably 20 to 25,000 students and faculty and that. They evacuated the whole thing, and we're about an hour and a half out away from getting there. So from the time we got there, got that message to the time we got up there, they had evacuated the whole campus, cleared it, dog sniffed everything, and then when we were pulling in, there were literally thousands of young people waiting to come in.
Huge.
Okay.
Like U.S. Governor, what would you do to help workforce shortage in Arizona for skilled labor, particularly with all of the technologies that we have coming, such as semiconductors, AI, and other skilled labor that is needed here in Arizona that we don't have now, and help them train, involving more so community colleges, which are at the forefront of training their communities, particularly in rural areas, to have that skill ready and available to ensure that our state continues to flourish. Like in the state right now where we're not, because there's no skilled labor ready to take on those semiconductor facilities and other manufacturing that is being talked about. So how are you going to get us ready to do that involving community colleges?
Yeah, so involving community colleges, training a high-tech skilled workforce. Well, I will facilitate what we're seeing in some places, and that is where, like TSMC, for instance, Taiwan Semiconductor, what they have done is they're forming partnerships with the community colleges. This is what we need. This is what we need them to know. And you prepare and you work with them. That kind of collaboration. In my district, you just had Google just come in, same thing. They went and said, this is what we need to the community college. The community college adapted it. And that's I think that collaboration, that kind of discussion has to take place. And we can spread it out. I mean, TSMC doesn't have to just try to take from Maricopa Community College District. It could go around the state and say, this, if you want to get a certificate in this, this is what you would do, and these are the classes you would take. And you could actually use these days technology to Zoom classes and online classes that would facilitate that, even in outside of Maricopa County and Peterson County.
We all know that, but there's not enough funding given to community colleges. It's being spread out to universities and even junior high schools, such as the loss of Perkins funding that went to junior high schools and not community colleges. It got taken away completely. So how are you going to help address that issue, since community colleges are the ones really helping build and reskill and upskill those community members?
So a lot of that, I'm going to be rightfully honest and forward, a lot of that comes back to the county in which you live. They have to decide they want to meet that commitment. That's what has to happen. That's the first line that you have to take. The second line is for the state to come up with take a look at it, make sure that there's enough funding, resources, whatever. But the other thing is, there are community colleges, I don't know about Yuma because I haven't looked, but there are community colleges that are teaching subjects that absolutely do not provide for any kind of preparation at all. And I don't know about Yuma, but I do know about Albany. And so we have to make sure that if we're going to give resources, that it's going to do exactly what you're talking about. And I would also tell you that high schools we need to make sure that we're moving to trade, skilled trade laborers as well. They can come out and make a lot of money doing skilled trades. That's important as well. And then I'll tell you one other thing. In our district, my district up there, there's a company coming in from California. I asked him, what are you doing for job labor and how is it going to work? He said, and this is what I'm finding, believe it or not, in a lot of these jobs, these high-tech jobs, they say, we will train them. The main thing we want is soft skill set. So what I'm talking about is this company's coming out is hiring 400 people. I said, how many of them are going to need to be skilled, have a degree, a certificate system? We have maybe 8 to 10 PhD type of coders and those types of things. Everybody else is coming in. They're coming in either fresh out of high school. They're coming in. He said, for some reason we get a lot of RNs that are switching jobs to us, and white collar guys, white collar men coming in. We are training them to use our high tech equipment, and that's what we want. And so that's what I'm saying is there are some gaps there for sure. But when I talk to whether it's TSMC or others, they say we want them to be able. We want them to commit to come in at 8 o'clock in the morning and stay here till 5 o'clock in the afternoon with an hour break plus whatever their schedule is. We want them here on time. We want them doing their best, and we want them to follow the rules and be a good employee. That's our main concern because we will train them, and that's what I would leave it with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Congressman, what effect does Congressman Schweikert's throwing his hat in the ring have on all of this right now? I mean, I see kind of a Ross Perot thing going.
See a what?
A Ross Perot thing
Oh,
going.
Ross Perot.
You know, and I'm just wondering, you know, where are the votes going to be pulled in? How's this going to be spread out? And I have a little concern about it. I don't like to see so many cooks coming into the broth, and the Republicans are really good about opening the door and just letting everybody come in.
So Connie's question is, Congressman Schweikert just announced that he's going to join the gubernatorial race. I'm running my race against Katie Hobbs.
Right.
And Katie Hobbs, I don't know that we can take another 4 years of Katie Hobbs. So, I mean, to your point about skilled labor, we've gone from 4th to 47th in job creation. We've got to make sure that there are jobs out there that we're training them for. That's critical and that's important. So I'm running against Katie Hobbs. My other opponents, you know, David's a good guy. I've known him for many years, and I've served with him in Congress. But for me, I'm focusing on job one, and that's restoring the state to a conservative Republican governor. And I think I'm the guy to do that. And,
know that.
Yeah, and the bottom line is, you know, I just say, water's fine. I've never told anybody not to run, except for I did say you might want to run a different district before. But I never told anybody not to run. He's welcome to run, but we're going to win. And we're going to win this because Trump has endorsed me. That's big in the state. Charlie Kirk endorsed me. TPUSA is there and is preparing to go full on for us. And they're going to help us win this state. And we also have, we've gone from a 4% Republican to Democrat advantage in the state to 8%. And it's going to keep growing. And it's going to keep growing because the Republicans have a vision. Republicans have this notion, this understanding of God gave you rights. Government's supposed to protect those rights. Pretty much get out of the way so you can fulfill your creation. So, thank you.
And what county did the best job increasing that proportion?
What county did the best job in increasing that promotion?
Yuma.
Yuma did, of course. Yeah, I was going to say that. Thank you for all that you've done. Thank you for taking time out with me today. And God bless you guys. And let's win this thing and turn the state around. Thank you.
Yeah, Congressman, I just want to say that you were looking at the people here who are your boots on the ground. These are the people who are going to be. These are the people who are going to be working for you. They got Trump elected, especially Malba, got Trump elected for the state of Arizona, and they will get you elected governor.
Here, 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 here. Back in the run it up.
Everybody, thank you for joining us.
Just driving like you're stolen.
Thank you so much, Congressman Biggs, for making the trip.